My friends, fellow compatriots, fellow humans from across the planet, I am Nikhil Parekh. In this video, I shall be talking about my book, Life Equal to Death, Volume 6, Poems on Life, Death, as well as giving you a recitation of different poems from this book of mine. So friends, let me commence with an introduction to this book of mine. About the poetry book. This book, which has 50 differently titled poems, is actually volume 6 of the book titled Life Equal to Death, Poems on Life, Death, 1200 pages. This enigmatic collection of poems explores and equates the boundless possibilities of life and death and delves into each intricate inexplicability of survival. Parekh's roving philosophical eye brings the unconquerable richness of life to the fore and yet at the same time explicitly highlights the veracity of death as the absolute certainty of every existence. The poet joyously celebrates the occasions of both life and death with equal panache. In each poetic stanza sewn with the uncanny mysteries of this universe. The poems within immortalize both life and death as the ultimate victories and the two most contrastingly amazing and divine sides of creation. Catapulting the reader to the threshold of ultimate ecstasy, they bring about an impromptu twist with the closure of breath and what lies beyond. This charismatically woven collection of poetic verse would equally enamor the narcissist as well as the simple humanitarian to the core. This book is a humble attempt to enlighten the readers with the equality of life and death and to live in both of them to the most unparalleled fullest. Embracing only the religion of humanity as the Lord has commanded. As the Lord has commanded every living being on earth. You can't die in life and can't live in death. Each of these components are irrefutably equal in every respect and should be worshipped with due obeisance. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I shall give you a recitation of 4 different poems of mine from this book. These different poems are Embrace Unconquerable Life, No Options After Death, Between Life and Death, and If You Believed. Of course, at any juncture of victorious existence, you can purchase this book of mine from Amazon.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is a recitation of my poem titled Embrace Unconquerable Life. Suicide is a ghastly lingering spirit between resplendently sparkling heaven and diabolically ghastly hell. Suicide is the most desperately hedonistic crime committed against every conceivable fraternity of all mankind. Suicide is the most truculently unforgivable outburst of any organism, murderously imperiling the crux of symbiotically mesmerizing existence. Suicide is a ghoulishly amorphous abode without the most infinitesimal trace of doors, windows, and robustly functioning entities. Suicide is an indescribably treacherous venom which brutally asphyxiates the impoverished ghost even after the wholesome end of priceless life. Suicide is the most preposterously scurrilous corpse that incarcerated you from all sides, morbidly dampening every quintessential iota, morbidly dampening every quintessential iota of your blood. Suicide is the most luridly mortifying death that an entity could ever undergo, ensuring that he indefatigably suffocated in diminutive litfuls of water while the other world danced every time it was born. Suicide is the most ultimate curse of the devil upon every civilization, religion, and tribe, afflicting the fabric of society like an uncontrollably lambasting tumor which simply had no end. Suicide is perniciously sinister balderdash, the most incongruously distorted and heartlessly inclement fantasy that the stinking pigs could ever construe. Suicide is a coffin of disparagingly bludgeoning solitude, a measly quavering insect being blown away into the isles of nothingness, and even the most mercurial draught of infidel wind. Suicide is a salaciously jinxed witch, casting her spell of unsurpassable doom even upon the most blissfully gratifying of destinies. Even upon the most blissfully gratifying of destinies. Suicide is a vindictively hollow and lecherously gawky edifice, baselessly wavering towards the gallows of emptiness, without the most infinitesimal of foundations. Suicide is an inexplicably cancerous sorrow that gruesomely crucifies your soul, disdainfully maiming you on every step, for infinite more births of yours yet to unveil. Suicide is a flagrantly whipping extinction that had not the tiniest chance to ebulliently revive, stagnating in the prisons of torturously bleeding hell. Suicide is a flaccidly corpulent mosquito, parasitically sucking blood every single day of its life, heartily preferring to sleep on a lavatory of derogatory shit. Heartily preferring to sleep on a lavatory of derogatory shit. Abrogating the most majestic of silken delights. Suicide is a chain of fanatically unpardonable misery which perilously dries up every trace of mellifluously golden voice. Suicide is the most prurient caricature of vibrantly ecstatic life, slithering like an obnoxiously infected worm in the junkyards of dissolutely demonic dilapidation. Suicide is dreadfully sinful, abnegating of breath without the Lord's consent. Suicide is dreadfully sinful, abnegating of breath without the Lord's consent, a misdeed which even His omnisciently magnanimous grace could never ever condone. A misdeed which even His omnisciently magnanimous grace could never ever condone. Suicide is a tunnel of blindness without any end. Suicide is a tunnel of blindness without any end. Suicide is the most punitive betrayal of truth desire. Suicide is the most punitive betrayal of truth desire, dream, and immortal love. Suicide is an unrelentingly blood-stained night which inconsolably cries. Therefore, massacre the very thought before it transcends you to commit forlorn suicide, O man, and instead embrace timeless sensuality. Instead embrace enchanting beauty. Instead embrace unconquerable life. Therefore, massacre the very thought before it transcends you to commit forlorn suicide, before it transcends you to commit forlorn suicide, O man, and instead embrace timeless sensuality, instead embrace enchanting beauty, instead embrace unconquerable life. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now give you a recitation of my poem titled No Options After Death. So here is a recitation of my poem from this book of mine. Some said that there was only and just brutally crucifying darkness, a wall of satanically pulverizing blackness after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just ghastly crippling silence, an unsurpassable coffin of tyrannically hopeless devastation after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just enchantingly invincible paradise, a festoon of royally resplendent heavens to welcome you after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just gruesomely ribald boredom, unsurpassable mortuaries of deplorably crucifying frustration after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just sadistically satanic torture, brutal excoriation of even the most infinitesimal of bones after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just fetidly abhorrent stench, limitless dungeons of sacrilegious decay after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just insanely body mania, uprooting every ingredient of celestial happiness after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just diabolically annihilating hell, the carcasses of unceasingly vindictive doomsday after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just unconquerably perpetual rebirth, the same form of life being consummately replaced by another after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just true emancipation of the soul, with it entering another symbiotically Holy Spirit after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just profanely livid loneliness, every iota of the blood being frozen into wisps of inane meaninglessness after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just hedonistically evil distortion, the graveyards of the most cancerously maiming of disease, plunging every ounce of your vibrant existence after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just a despairing oblivion of infinite infinity, helplessness and ominous hopelessness on every step that you dared tread after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just an invidious apocalypse of hysterical sobbing a haunted house of inconsolably never-ending misery after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died? Some said that there was only and just a tomb of indefatigable bad luck, where even the most evanescent droplet of water that you tried to consume, metamorphosing into victimizing venom after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just a universe of blessed reincarnation, unassailably omnipotent life spawning on every quarter of earth after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just a pickstock of stinkingly debasing lies, a jailhouse of lecherously penalizing felony after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Some said that there was only and just a lugubriously jinxed ghost, forlornly cursed wails of tawdryly decrepit nothingness after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died. Whilst I said that as long as you lived and there was life, there simply wasn't anything like death, not even the most ethereal of its agnostic insinuation. And after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died, there wasn't the tiniest of possibility of contemplating your deathly options any further, as no form of vibrant life would ever dare even whisper and come back again. Whilst I said that as long as you lived and there was life, there simply wasn't anything like death, not even the most ethereal of its agnostic insinuation. And after you wholesomely relinquished your very last breath and died, there wasn't the tiniest of possibility of contemplating your deathly options any further, as no form of vibrant life would ever dare even whisper and come back again. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now give you a recitation of my poem titled If You Believed. So here is a recitation of my poem from this book of mine. If you believed in the sweetness of royal pudding, it's because of decayed yellow sour cream. If you believed in blissful meadows of lush green grass, it's because of barren landscapes scorching in the tumultuous fury of the sun. If you believed in high-tech computers with a plethora of software chips, it's because of the onerous task of scribbling on sheets of jute paper. If you believed in rich milk extracted from cow teats, it's because of the obnoxious odor inhabiting barrels of canned milk. If you believed in luxury sedans traversing with silken grace, it's because of the aching feet rendered sore due to the onset of age. If you believed in holistic sunlight filtering through your skin pores, it's because of disease breeding in an ambience of ghastly darkness. If you believed in crisp notes of dollar currency, it's because of intractable woes of misery and starvation to death. If you believed in dancing to pulsating beats of country music, it's because of the tension that encapsulates you while lying solitary. If you believed in consuming blood red apple juice, It's because of dreary exhaustion, sapping exuberance from your brain. If you believed in bathing in torrential rain tumbling down, it's because of the claustrophobic showers projecting from the bathroom rail. If you believed in inhaling the fresh scent of moistened earth, it's because of the bountiful smoke drifting in atmosphere. If you believed in laughing all night long, it's because of the saline tears that poured incessantly down your cheek. If you believed in the ergonomic interiors of your cane roof house, it's because of bitter currents of cold you encountered on the streets. If you believed in pursuing the quest for education, it's because of stigmatic tags of illiteracy riveted to your persona. If you believed in cruising on the grandiloquent ship, it's because of fear of drowning in unfathomably deep waters of the ocean. If you believed in sipping black cocktail drinks from crystal mugs, it's because of unseething agony that grips your heart. If you believed in adorning the wrists with a sports watch, it's because of insecurity generated when oblivious to time. If you believed sleeping like a demon all throughout the vigils of winter night, it's because of the overwhelming work that awaits your anatomy the succeeding day. If you believed in loving someone with all your heart and soul, it's because of meaningless existence that divests all purpose in life. If you believed in cool waves of air leaking from the air conditioner, it's because of blistering waves of heat striking you left, right, and center. If you believed in placid light of the opalescent moon, it's because of blinding rays of the peninsula of sun. If you believed in benevolent goodness that exists, it's because of volatile outbursts of violent crime. If you believed in immaculate anecdotes of truth, it's because of insatiable deception camouflaging the world. If you believed in youth bustling with euphoric fervor, it's because of perils that come uninvited in realms of old age. In realms of old age. And if you believe in the supreme aura of sacrosanct Godhead, it's simply because of the gruesome devil. And if you believed in the supreme aura of sacrosanct Godhead, if you believed in the supreme aura of sacrosanct Godhead, it's simply because of the gruesome devil. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now give you a recitation of my poem titled Between Life and Death from this book of mine. So here is a recitation of my poem. Between the ominous black clouds and the earth, there lies enchanting breeze placidly cooling the atmosphere. Between wholesome pitch darkness and brilliant sunlight, there lies the mesmerizing evening, passionately awaiting the night. Between the summit of colossal mountain and the dusty roads, there lies the delectably gurgling waterfall, dissipating into silken froth. Between the mammoth tusked elephant and the minuscule ant, there lies the innocuous rabbit playing hide and seek amidst the labyrinth of bushes. Between the bombastic Mercedes and the threadbare bicycle, between the bombastic Mercedes and the threadbare tricycle, there lies a bike zipping past the landscapes at lightning speeds. Between the transparent mirror and mounds of abominable coal, there lies murky coins of silver, incarcerating all in vicinity with their mystical spell. Between the stupendously exotic rose and the infinitesimal granules of free soil, there lies nimble blades of grass, voraciously tickling trespassers with their tantalizing tendrils. Between the obstreperously scorching train and the perpetually silent valley, there lies the bubbling river, granting substantial reprieve from the agony of sweltering sun. Between hostile thorns of cactus and the sweet curry of pulverized sugar, there lies the robust apple, imparting a voluptuous flavor the instant you masticated it. Between the profusely embellished statue and heap of fetid garbage, there lies the succulent coconut with a pool of tangy water impregnated in its womb. Between the grandiloquent castle and the shoddily attired iron drain pipe, there lies the seaside hut. There lies the seaside hut with waves of the ocean sporadically against its windows. Between the melodiously singing nightingale and the discordantly wailing mosquito, there lies the sly fox, whistling harmoniously in open space. Between the pot-bellied giant and the inconspicuous infant, there lies the impetuous youngster, euphorically wandering around. Between the bird soaring astronomically high and the slithering lizard, there lies the opalescent butterfly, flirtatiously fluttering its wings. Between impeccable truth and nefarious evil, there lies the mischievous monkey, playing pranks to appease mankind. Between the sanctimoniously rich and the bedraggled beggar, there lies the common man, trying to struggle every unleashing minute for existence. Between garish velvet and immaculate fibers of white, there lies the grey squirrel, frantically trying to scratch its burrow before sunset. Between immortal love and superficial hatred, there lies philanthropic friendship. Between immortal love and superficial hatred, there lies philanthropic friendship, propagating its essence far and wide. And between newborn life and perilously old death, there lies sweet experiences which add color to living, a dynamic vibrancy to breath. And between newborn life and perilously old death, there lie sweet experiences which add color to living, a dynamic vibrancy to breath. Ladies and gentlemen, it truly was a victorious privilege for me to have given a recitation of this poetry of mine to your exuberantly mesmerizing jurisdiction. At any juncture of existence, you can of course purchase this book of mine from Amazon.com. From the innermost dormitory of my heart, I wanted to thank you for having so patronized my poetry. Thank you for listening to me.